Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is BMT coming at you again. I wanted to do this one in all earnesty. Of it's going to be a free, open discussion. I'm opening it up to anyone. Um, to you can tell me your woes. I'm pretty much just doing an um, open talk. I guess you get to actually say how you feel. But I want to know. I genuinely want to know. Um, you can be white, black, Latino, Asian, whatever. It's okay. I want to know. You know what I'm saying? Like, tell me who destroyed the community. What's going on, John? And this should be that of one I am asking earnestly. I keep hearing about women destroy the community, men destroy the community, drugs destroy the community. All kind of nuances of things have destroyed community, society. So I was curious. I said I will open up a free for all. As long as it's respectful. I don't need no long winded talking points or nothing like that. I don't want to hear your dialogue, your diatribes, none of that. I just want to know what it is that you believe um, destroy the community. I've been here for years on doing this social media thing. I think 2017. And so I hear people say different vices of stuff on why they believe in what they believe in. I sit and just earnestly I don't care. Like, you'll get more respect out of me if you come on the panel. I'm not reading your comments too much. I mean, I might not. But I want to know, because people have been saying, well, the community is destroyed. And I said, well, if the community is destroyed, then how have you been surviving? How did you thrive? And don't just tell me the easy old thing. Um, I got out. Okay, so let's play the game of a zombie apocalypse. You can never holistically leave the earth, but what are you doing to survive out of the zombie apocalypse of the community? What I mean, what is it that's so specifically special about you? How are you able to recognize the signs? You say that, well, the men, but then if I look at the crime reports, then we're going to see, I don't know. And we look at the promiscuity and the sexuality, and I'm just curious. I hear this every other day when I come to these channels. And I try to be respectful to understand why people think what they think. And honestly, what's your answer? Now, if it's a get money type of thing, then okay, just say you're trying to make money. I can accept that for what it is. You're trying to get your money, you're trying to buy your freedom. Okay, I'll take that. But you're just trying to survive, hopefully that you'll get by or some shit. But what makes you special? What makes you able to do what you're doing? See, I've always had these questions, but I hear this from a lot of people. When they join different talking points, they have different agendas, whatever it is that it is. And I can agree with that, John. And when I hear these talking points from people tell me all these things, and I tell you right now, man, being around or amongst these people, it has been a shining beacon light. The talking points get more and more interesting. And I can't help but wonder, like, what is it that these people do that keeps them either in the predicament or keeps them out of the predicament of the situation? Now that I'm doing open panel, it's quiet. Is it because I'm not saying nothing that makes black people feel good about themselves? Is it because I'm not doing no type of crazy talking points? I feel like you either gotta say some crazy shit or you gotta be delusional as fuck. Some people just like getting on and getting drunk and saying belligerent shit. Other people like being overly sexual and provocative. You got a bunch of females. You got a bunch of women that like provoking, gossip and they talk like the strippers. But then they'll make demands of men. Some of the men, the way they describe that of the household, you can tell that one, they ain't even dealing with women, or B, it's like some kind of indoctrinated like behavior. And I have to start wondering, man, like these same people that are talking, man. I would like to see their version of functionality. So, I mean, I don't have no care because it is what it is. Hang on. We have a guest that's up on there.
Hey, brother.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on?
I saw your topic and I didn't get to jump on the last one. Don't come for me, y'all. I'm eating Fruit Loops.
I ain't got no smoke for you. This is an open dialogue forum today.
Yeah.
Um like I said, I got nothing of anything. It's just straight up dialogue. For however it may go. I will just have the discussion. Mainly just free balling off of um the discussion. I'm gonna just be playing advocate and just asking questions. Starting it off. Tell me why, or tell me who destroyed um your community, or why do you believe your community is destroyed?
Well, me personally, I don't really believe that our community is destroyed. I believe that that is propaganda, that is stuff that is put out there.
Mhm.
Because one thing I noticed is that as a community, we are a bit more susceptible to the things that we see. So a lot of times, and mind you, it's starting to change now. But a lot of times, it used to be whenever we would see something on TV, we sit there and take that shit as gospel.
Right.
We go ahead and eat that up and be like, oh, no, this is right because such and such and such, or this is right because so and so and so and so. And we would never really take the time to investigate because we were also always taught that what there's certain shit that we don't do. That's white people shit. You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
Investigating. trying to look too deep into stuff. You know what I mean? That's what
Mhm.
they do. Let them do that. So if some bad shit happen, let that fall on them. We just gonna go ahead and comply and, you know, be nice, be good, be quiet. And if we behave, then maybe, just maybe, we won't be bothered. Kind of mentality. Now, like I said, I do believe that it's starting to change. I believe that there's going to be more change that's going to come because, now we're starting to do our own research. We're starting to see things differently for ourselves. We're starting to, not only that, but find like minds. And we're starting to have certain conversations that, one generation ago, shush. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People are seen, not heard. Children seen, not heard. We don't talk about certain things. Some of the things I used to hear all the time is whenever I was having conversations or questions about church, you don't question God.
Right.
Well, I'm not questioning God. I'm just questioning a book. And if I have a question about a book that contradicts itself all the time, aren't I supposed to ask for clarity and understanding? You
Right.
know, Now we have people that are conspiracy theorists and no, we didn't ask about those things. It's just that's the way it was, or it was like that because mama said so or daddy said so.
Fair enough.
Things of this nature. So now we're starting to do more research. We're starting to actually start seeing things for what they are, not for what we want them to be. But the main reason that I think a lot of people feel that our communities are broken or our communities are in any kind of damaged state, so to speak, is
Mhm.
because every single time you look on that TV, every single time you go on social media, it don't matter if it's TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, you name an app, boom. You have a lot of people that are telling us, your community is broken. You are broken. You are not enough. You have these people that hate you. You have these, you know, you have all of this shit that's telling you. So me personally, I don't think we're broken. Now, do I think that we have expanded and that we do need to come together to be able to have the conversations, to gain the clarity, to come up with a game plan, to be able to improve ourselves yet again? Certainly. But
Right.
I also believe that the hierarchy, because I don't like to put race on it, y'all, y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Okay. Um, they have literally put certain things in place strategically to where, first of all, we can't even have a black community because anywhere that's predominantly black is always sprinkled with white people here and there. So therefore, we can't really have an all black community. Now, I'm not saying that's positive or negative. That's just one of the things I noticed.
Do you think honestly?
What's
Do
that?
you think do you think racism is not needed or a necessity?
Honestly, I wouldn't even know how to answer that.
Hmm.
I think
I think racism is a necessity.
I was going towards that, but I really
It's okay.
I'm one of those that can say, no, I can say sometimes.
This is a free flow format. This is a free flow format. So this is however you feel. Like there's no right or wrong direction in this. But I
What
don't
what I meant by that is I see pros and cons about both. But, in seeing the pros and cons, I mean, I'll go ahead and put it out there. Back when we actually had segregation, the black community was flourishing. That's back in the time when we had Black Wall Street. I'm not even gonna sit there and bring up Black Wall Street and the other areas that we had in Michigan and stuff like this that were booming. But the family unit was a lot tighter. We didn't have all these, people that are trying to fight for power, who, we didn't have such a, how do I want to put it? We were not so off kilter. Like back then, you didn't hear nobody sitting there and talking about masculine and feminine and what a woman should do and what a man should do. You just knew what you should do. You learned it from, the matriarchs. You learned it from the patriarchs. Even if you had papa, even if your papa was a Rolling Stone. Okay, I'm not gonna sit there and say they wasn't out there. Hell, even if your mama was a Rolling Stone. At the end of the day, we were close knit. This is where it took a village to raise a child. Everybody pitched in. Everybody knew we were safer. Okay. We were safer. We had a different type of clarity and we had a different type of understanding.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have a lot of the issues that we have now. But once again, like I said, pros and cons of both. Now that we've been able to integrate, I mean, there are some things that have been able to benefit with
What
that. There
do
are
you
some
feel that
things.
we? What do you think? What do you think we benefited out of integration?
I like that question. That's a good question. um, Honestly, offer integration. A lot of us at that time wanted to be able to go ahead and gain our own without the fear of being. I'm not going to say persecuted, without the fear of literally being obliterated. Okay. Um, what I mean by that is, we had Black Wall Street, and we actually had a couple of them. Wasn't just one. Whenever we had those, there were, we literally got bombed by our own people. Well, if we can consider America our people, y'all know what I mean. We got bombed by the other demographic. Okay. So, whenever we integrated and we were still able to get our piece of the pie, so to speak, we could do it without fear of death in such a way. Or we could do certain things like be able to have our children go to school without being so targeted. So targeted. Not saying we're not targets,
Mm-hmm.
but we could go without being so targeted. At that time, there was still targets on backs and fronts. Things have changed and adjusted, but we were able to go ahead and get that. We were able to be able to have our piece of the pie to be able to live in what some people consider predominantly good areas, aka white areas. Let's just keep it 100, because black areas were just as good. It was just society was sitting there and telling us that we weren't. Yeah, honestly, it was a form of brainwashing.
Right.
Um, but we were able to do that without having to worry about our home being bombed, without having to worry about our if we decide to go ahead and build a business there, or hell, even if we decide to have a patent, we could do that without having to worry about the person carrying the patent dying, us being shot, um just a few things. Now, once again, like I said, things are shifting yet again, things are changing. That was a few of those pros. I'm not gonna lie, there was
Now,
a bit more
let me
cons.
ask you this question. Then let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
If that's the case, would you, as a woman, want to go back in that time?
If we're talking about the 40s and 50s in a predominantly black area, part of me says yes, part of me says no. Part of me says yes because honestly,
You
I
can
think
only have one. Stop playing safe. You can't play safe. You can only have one. Either you're going back or you're not. Either you want to go back to that or not.
yes, I would go. I would go back happily. Yes.
I don't want to go back. I couldn't go back. And I could tell you why. For me, there's nothing back there that I would honestly want to go do or care for. Don't get me wrong. I get the talking point when people say, well, we were together, but was it by choice or was it because of force? There's a difference. There's one thing when you're choosing to work together as a family. It's a thing different when you're choosing to work together as a collective group because nobody else will fuck with you. It's a different thing where you're doing it because you want to do it, because you want to. Like, if it was the case, if that product, if that prototype of success worked so well, right? Even if we integrated, we wouldn't have left success because then it would be looked at as, well, shit, we already know how to do all this stuff. Why join on to somebody else and have to restart over? That's like, for a good instance, no one can tell you how to run your home better than you.
Right.
Now, take it that then one day, let's say let's make up a scenario. Exile's mother-in-law or mother says, "Y'all come stay with me. I have a big 20-bedroom house.
Mm.
Y'all come stay with me."
Nah, we gonna have to tough it out right where we at.
Well, hold on
Nah.
now. Hold on. You're moving into a bigger atmosphere. But you understand you're giving up your privacy, your freedoms. It ain't the
That's how
best, but you're giving it up to move to a bigger, higher platform.
Well,
Y'all
see,
still
there it
be a
is right
family.
there. You're giving up your freedoms. You're giving up your freedoms to sit there and speak on, do as you please, do as you will, and there it is. But you also got to take in consideration back then. Now, when I say back then, I'm talking about anywhere between the 20s to the 50s.
But see,
Okay.
a lot, but see, that's not fair because okay, I feel well, I don't feel we pick and choose like we have a plate in front of us, and you have the liver, the peas, and the mashed potatoes,
Hmm.
but you don't want to eat the liver. You eat the mashed potatoes. You might eat a little bit of peas, but you don't eat the liver. But you got to eat all of it. It's all on the plate, regardless if you like it or not. You got to eat all of it. I always
Mm.
interest like if a black man says we had it good back then, I said, well, tell me how good was it for you, Negro? If a black woman says that's when we had real men, then I said, then what were you considered as a woman? You're never going to have full autonomy of power because at some point you're going to give up some. If I go back in the day, would I
Mm.
still be valued at the same value I am now back in the day? I wouldn't get paid the same.
And that's the question. Are you sure?
I wouldn't.
See, there's a reason that I went ahead and I said yes because I mean I see things. I'm not saying that mine is right, yours is wrong,
No,
because
no, yeah, yeah. This is no right or wrong. This is us
right.
dialoguing.
So here's my viewpoint on it. Back then we had closer knits. I'm one of those that I strongly believe in learning from my ancestors. And, the main reason that we are still so strong even today is because, believe it or not, we have a long memory. We remember everything, no matter how these people that sat there and tried to erase the evidence, abolish it, sit there and say it wasn't true, change shit up. We have a long memory. I want to go back and be able to go ahead and get firsthand knowledge that that has been destroyed, mistreated, miscommunicated, all these kind of things. On top of the fact of whenever you said, would you, if you went to work and let's say hypothetically you worked at a factory or something like that, or you learn how to use your hands, okay? Because honestly, that's what a lot of the work was. It was hands on. We didn't have college. We didn't have a lot of that kind of stuff. We had hands on stuff. You were able to learn trades, okay?
Mhm.
Back then, being that the the dollar, the value of the dollar is different. You said, would you be making the same? Baby, honestly, if you really did the math, I think you'd be making more for real. I mean, they might have sat there and, cost something just $5, but whenever you take in the cost of living, the cost that, what it costs to sit there and support your family and everything else. And this is this is saying hypothetically you have the same size family you have now. I mean, it would have been financially, it was a little bit more comfortable. Now, will I say that we have the same threats? White people trying to kill us almost, matter of fact, not even almost. White people trying to kill us on a daily basis. Yeah, but you want to know a little secret? We still got that same shit now.
Now, but here's the thing I'm gonna throw out. Okay, you're bringing up a fair point, but I'm gonna say this: you control your own economy, because technically, yeah, if we're in our own area and we're dealing with each other, then yeah, I can give you that. I can give you that. Do I think that we would honestly be making the same amount? I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, we have those few people that hit $1 million. That's very rare. Can I say that, hey, Liza would have her own diner, or probably a board, what's it called, a bed and breakfast? It's possible.
Probably.
It's possible. It's possible. But then I also would have to be realistic and know, okay, now when it comes to this, and this is where I look at some things side eye. That one, choices of how the rules of engagement for me. Okay, now I'm gonna use me for instance. For me as a man, there's no such thing as coincidence of getting married for love. You're not marrying for love. You're marrying for survival. I know some people want to believe that fairy tale. Kids were used as an accessory, which you couldn't afford work, help. Your kids were used for work, for helping ends. Um, I can honestly say that that is for men. Yes, we have men that have gone to college. Women, not really. Y'all didn't really get to do school. It's, it's just that there was a lot of things. Like I said, just going back in the past. Now, as far as it goes for black people, one, I'm gonna have to. This is my problem. One, the church had too much power. Sorry, I'm gonna be honest. The church had too much
Oh no,
power.
I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Uh, I don't think no man, just because you say you claim to be a holy man, that you should have that much power and influence of say so. Even to today, I don't agree. And I have a problem with people saying we have black leaders. Call me an anarchist if you want, but I'm not for. I don't think no man should have that much right to lead or be over any of it. Now, I know y'all might want to say, well, other groups have other leaders to an extent, to an extent, and that's them. That's them. I'm sorry. For me as a black man, I am more American than most people. Okay. If you were to say, well, I'm just only thing different about me, and this is what y'all gonna think I'm on my coon shit, whatever. I'm just a black white man at the end of the day. I was born and created here in America to work and thrive in this environment. That's why they sought me out. That's why they sought a woman like Eliza out, because our kind of people were able to thrive and work in these type of conditions. So we were kind of like 100. We were the first type of cattle. Now, in that retrospect,
Yeah.
in that retrospect reference, I'm looking at that. But I know
I'm
people
from
say, I know, but in that retrospect, I would say honestly for this, uh, what a lot of people say, well, we need to go back to building the black community. Then I would say, then how are you surviving, or what are you thriving on? Because one, what type of black community are you trying to rebuild? Nobody ever asks that question. What type of black community? And I'm gonna tell you why. I don't want to use my glasses. I want to just use my mind for this one. I've heard like whenever conservatives go off to make their type of camps. I'm not sure if you ever heard of them prepper camps or all that other good shit. It never goes right. It goes to shit. It goes to shit. Like the women started getting treated like shit, and the men started fighting for dominance and all X, Y, and Z and shit. Y'all don't believe me? Ask some people who went off, try to go off the grid and do that doomsday prepper shit. And they try to do it as a conglomerate whole. The only thing that keeps men in line is civility and law. It's the only thing. Without law and civility of honoring that of the law code, and this is another thing why I have a problem with that of how law enforcement is. I don't hate police. I hate that of the protection that law enforcement have. I'm gonna be honest. No man should have qualified immunity. Not the
I agree.
rich, not the guy who wears a shield. I, as a soldier, I should not have qualified immunity. Nobody should ever have qualified immunity. That is a dangerous card that people have been using in this country. That's too powerful. But then, on the same sense, in our community, we have some people, no matter what type of stuff that they do. And this is honestly how R. Kelly had so much power, because everybody loved him. Nobody can imagine a rich man that with handsome looks and that could sing would do something like that.
Yeah.
Even though we knew, and I'm gonna be for real, black people, we knew something was up when we saw, not just when Alicia, Alicia
Aaliyah.
Leah came out.
Aaliyah.
Thank you. Not when we knew even before she came out, because remember the woman on Arsenio Hall even asked, "Are y'all two together?"
Yep.
Because we heard the songs and we were like, and see, that's to me is that community protection. And see, I'm gonna throw this at you. How much sweeping under the rug have we done now? We can't even hide it no more. Like there's so much dirt under the rug don't even sit flat.
Yeah. You're right.
You're a good mom. I'm a good dad. But we know damn well we got some demons that even ourselves like, hey, listen, I gotta give us some space.
Oh
No,
yeah,
no,
I'm
no.
all about accountability and sitting there and saying, hey, you know what? Hey, I need time. Because right now, if you sit there and try to do this right now, I can't promise I'm gonna make the best decision.
Tell me, tell me, tell me. I remember, y'all. Eliza is not. She's not the innocent church girl y'all think she is. She's cool, but listen, when she wants to turn up, she will turn up.
Yes.
How do you think it's possible we can try to get some of that scrub of stench that has been stuck on? How do you think it's possible for you as a black woman to get some of that imagery that's been placed on y'all off of y'all? Let me ask that question first.
Well, that actually goes into a deeper answer.
Mm,
First of all, we need to start to understand that first of all, this power struggle that people are having now about, women and men, because it initially it was black issues, but nothing was done until white people picked it up and started running with it, running with their issues, and then, there's a light shined on it. Um, at the end of the day, first of all, we need to all understand we have masculine as well as feminine qualities to us, first and foremost. Once you get over that and all the stuff that comes with that, and when I say the stuff that comes with that, I'm talking about, the men, oh my God, well, you know what, these women, blah, 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 blah. I want an old fashioned woman. And then these women out here, I don't need no man, I don't need no nigga, XYZ. We got to get out of that. Because
mm,
at the end of the day, it, with that, it was the old saying that, together, together we can sit there and make, well, that wasn't a saying, but I can't remember right now. Together we can make shit work, but separated we fall.
mhm,
And I think that's one of the first main things that are done. As many valid points as you've had, at the end of the day, if we can actually learn to come back together, and when I say this, I'm not talking about everybody, I'm not talking about every community, I'm talking about black folks. If we can really focus on these things and who is actually hidden and leave that shit where it be and literally focus on us instead of trying to fix everybody else's house and trying to clean everybody else's house. And, then we can understand that we need to come, we need to work together because you need both. You cannot create without both. You know what
mhm.
I mean? You cannot have you, I'm sorry, I could go deep into that. I'm not going to. At the end of the day, you need both parties. Okay, not just to create people, but to literally be able to come together, have a structure that is ours. That'll be the first thing. The second thing we need to do is, we need to understand that a lot of the things that are going on is a Western civilization's way of living, of thinking, of feeling.
Mm.
Okay. I'm not saying we got to go back to Africa, y'all, but what I will say is we need to understand these things were put in motion for a reason already from the jump, from the beginning of whenever we were considered free persons. Okay. They've literally been trying to divide us in every way, shape, and form that they could. Either kill our men, rape our women, do all this, have us have other children, that all kind of shit.
Right.
Even in the workplace, you know what? Allow the men to work. Don't let the women work. All these other things that will mentally tell you that you were either inferior to someone or superior to someone. We need to go ahead and lose that. We really do because a lot of our that's where a lot of issues that are coming in. But believe it or not, these aren't even our issues. They're really, really not. These are issues that these are kind of white folks' issues. And
But do you think that whatever? Now, here's the thing about it, Liza. Now, and this is why I said I'm the black white man. Because if we go, and y'all going to say, well, BMT, why do you think like that? And yeah, do I think diplomatic immunity is dangerous? Yes, it is very dangerous. This is
I
how
agree.
that's why a lot of politicians can say and have been able to get away with what they're doing,
With
and
murder,
they get away with full murder, and nobody can.
figuratively and literally. So
And so,
yes,
so I would honestly, y'all gonna say, well, BMT, you crazy was saying that we're the black white man. Ask an African, does he consider you an African? Ask the Caribbean. Ask anybody that looks like me and Eliza. Do they consider us? Now they may say we look like them. You know what
And
I
they
mean?
won't even say that. They won't even say that. They'll sit
But
there and say, "No, y'all not us.
they'll
No,
tell
we are African. Y'all American."
they'll tell us we're American.
Hmm.
Now the thing about it is, and this is the thing about it for Black Americans, we have the stepchild syndrome where we don't feel like we have a home. And it sucks and it does suck at some point because it's like, I get it. We talk about, hey, we can go back to Africa. I can't. I can't.
In
I
all
can't.
honesty, they're not really gonna accept you as one of them over there. They're
I,
not.
I, I mean, y'all can. I get some people do the videos and shit and try to sell it. I can't, man. Like I can't see myself going over there. Maybe some of y'all can go over there. Y'all can go live off of generators and shit or whatever the hell y'all want to live off of and eat okra soup and all that other stuff. I'm not catching malaria. I'm not doing that shit again. Not doing it.
Actually, certain parts of Africa are actually beautiful. They're actually better built than a lot of areas that we have over here. Once
I
again,
don't
that's
know. I know it's not bad. Like I'm not gonna go off of the saved. Like I've been over to the Middle East and I've seen some Africa. I've seen some Africa, but I know my home. Like I felt like walking amongst the Africans, or just walking amongst other diasporas of Black. I didn't feel like a Black American. I just felt like another person amongst other people. However, the way how they looked at me made me understand I was never one of them.
hmm
Okay, y'all can say, "Oh no, BMT." Okay. Go amongst some Haitians and see if they're going to still speak English around you. When they don't want you to understand what they're saying, they start speaking English real fast and they start speaking French and Creole.
hmm
Go amongst some Jamaicans. Go amongst any other diaspora that is not African American. This is no
hmm
any of them. They may sit amongst you, but down to the blood root tip, they don't fuck with you unless they have to deal with you. I'm just letting you know right now. I was told that. I lived up north. I lived in the north, and I lived in the south. I lived around Dominicans. I lived around Puerto Ricans. So I understand, and I don't have no hatred or ill will in my heart. You know what I'm saying? Now, one of the nuances, and one of the nuances I always find interesting when people always say the Black community is very destructive, and I always used to laugh at that. But I was like, well, damn, then shit, all the music I've been listening to, and I listen to a lot of rock music. There, listen, listen. I can show y'all some very anti-government establishment music.
Well, look, Corn, Rage Against the Machine, Nine Inch Nails. This is my shit, y'all. I look. He's saying he's the he's the black white guy. I was the token white girl, okay, for the longest time, and I love rocking out. I do. Over there.
Like I said, man, like y'all, like that's what I'm saying. Like I just believe our shit is put more out there on Front Street than everything else or everybody else to make other people feel more comfortable. And it is what it is. I get it. I get it. I can speak very articulate well. So can she. We both are business owners. We both have families. We're both very well grounded. We both are believe in having an establishment of men in the household along with women in the household. We don't have no gender. Like me and her are very, very well in sync on a lot of things. But we also understand that there's a higher power at play. There's a
Yes.
higher power at play. That's why when I hear people say, well, uh, like tell me, like when I ask about, well, the community destroyed, that's like saying, and I'm gonna use this reference. When people say, well, Krypton is destroyed, and I'm like, well, technically yes, but no. Because so long as Superman is still alive, there's still a Kryptonian.
Mm-hmm.
And no matter what he does, he's still gonna represent Krypton.
Mm-hmm.
No matter where I go or she goes or anybody else goes, who however we reproduce will still always be that of a representation of where we come from.
Exactly.
We can never escape that of our hair, our facial, our actions. You know what I'm saying? And Barack Obama was raised by white people, all
Mm-hmm.
but the first thing that they called him
Was a nigga.
was a nigga. And this is not me, and we're not on no racial shit. We're just very, 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 very very, very straightforward. I get it. I get it. We wanted the country to change. But I could tell you right now, and I played this game with people. Let's say January 6th did go through. Let's do a hypothetical. If
Okay.
January 6th, let's say if January 6th had went through
The way they planned it.
the way they planned it, what then? What then? What was your plan for the men and women? If they had won, how are you gonna feed the children? How are you gonna keep our money afloat? How are you gonna make sure, because the gas is already gone to shit now?
Mm-hmm.
What were you gonna do to keep us afloat? I mean,
I
I'm just saying, like, what?
I mean, okay, so I understand what you're saying with that question, but I'm also the reason I sat there and made my sound, and I do apologize if it came off
Oh
disrespectful.
no, go, go, you got it.
That whenever I made my sound, I was literally thinking at the end of the day, all they were gonna do is sit there and blame it on the other guy. That's all they were gonna do because for some reason, one thing. Okay, I love America, born raised here. Honestly, if I had a choice, wouldn't be anything else because I don't know anything else. Okay, so I can't say if I would or if I wouldn't be somewhere else. First of all, secondly, one thing that we do and we do well is that we are bullies. We will bully our own people. Okay, and even with bullying our own, that tells you, if we got a band together, then we gonna go ham on somebody else. So if shit went to, if stuff went to shit, the first thing they would have done is sat there and blamed the other person. They wouldn't have sat there and you know, thought that deeply into it. That's one of the things my mother used to sit there and tell me: before you make an action, think it through thoroughly. Don't just think and make an action based off your emotions, based off of how you feel, because how you feel right now might not be how you feel in 15 minutes. And in
Mhm.
15 minutes, the last thing you want is to have to sit there and clean up this mess that you made because you were too hot headed, right now, or you were too in love, or you were, your passions were overflowing heavily. Okay.
Mhm.
So that's a perfect example. These people would have sat there and blamed the other guy. And then because they don't know how to do any of those things, they would have waited back for somebody else to fix it.
Mm.
Oh, we all about breaking up some shit. We all about destroying some shit. We all about sitting there saying, you know what, I'm going to write. We all about that shit. But when it comes to building, when it comes to creating, when it comes to healing, when it comes to fixing of an issue, you get crickets. We get chirps. Don't nobody know how to do that. All we were taught is how to break shit.
Mhm.
So like I said, the first thing they would have done is sat there and blame the other person. Then they would have waited around for somebody to come and play Captain Save-A-Ho and fix it. And then after that, and they saw that there was no relief coming, then, we would have had people that were, building these camps, working together, trying to get the stuff out there. Now, mind you, while we're doing all this, there's still a shit ton of people that are not getting any help, that are going unnoticed, unseen, that are not getting any help, that are not, you know what I mean? So we still would have been, hypothetically, had things gone the way as planned, there would have been a lot of people running amok. The police would have been able to do whatever the fuck they wanted to do. And everybody literally would have been scared, and scarcity would have been a very real thing. Here's another thing I noticed. We are quick to sit there and talk about what we have, what we don't have, what we want, how we want more of it. And it seems like nobody really understands that if that shit was to go through, we got people like literally panicking over baby formula and some food shortages and shit like this. Do y'all not realize that if that shit had went through according to plan, there would have been a lot more scarcity, a lot more? This is trickling down from everything from paychecks not being made because money wouldn't have been able to be released to sit there and be put out. This is insurances not being covered. This is, businesses not being able to have the products that they need to make everybody continue to be comfortable. Hell, this is the internet. This is electricity. Everything that people have that literally gives them comfort and convenience. That shit would have been out. So had that shit worked the way it was planning on working, it literally would have set us back to where we would have had to come together by force. We would have had to come together, figured out a way to sit there and have these conversations, put our differences to the side, build together, and make shit work. You know what I mean?
Now, let's use this. Now, we had a drastic reaction, and I was looking, and maybe you might even want to hit this up on your channel and use this as some content.
Okay.
We had a drastic thing happen to this country with the 19 people being gunned down. 17 children. And then before that, not too long ago, was the Buffalo incident. Okay.
Now yes.
Now, I told you, for every radical reaction, there's going to be a radical reaction.
For every radical action, there's going to be a radical reaction. Yes. Okay. The pendulum is swinging.
So now we can't slow this down now. We're here. Let me grab this. All right, y'all. So let me see if y'all can.
Many of the teachers carry guns just in case. Show me your weapons and tell me what they are.
45, sir.
45.
Mr. Pastor, this is a 45. Yes, Director of Security. Fine.
The pastor carries a 45 in a case that looks like a Bible. The principal is also armed with a 38 semi-automatic pistol. How many of you feel safer knowing that your teacher has a gun? All of you. School in New Mexico.
Now, did you see that? Did you see that?
Sorry, my son was talking to me. Yes, I saw it. Yeah, you can have some, baby.
Now, we're here now. We're here now. This is America is now changing. Now that's New Mexico. Now in New Mexico, staff has guns, the teachers have guns. and the hell, even down to the pastor at churches, they now carry guns.
Mm-hmm.
What's your thoughts? Do you believe that this is a good direction that we're going to?
Well, I have teenagers, and as powerful as that video is, there are just as many videos of teenagers talking all kind of reckless to their teachers, and the teachers losing their shit.
Keep going.
So I said, honestly, for an elementary school, okay, you know, that can seem a bit more acceptable. I'm not gonna leave because I mean, shit, honestly, I feel like I have to sit there and do a mental evaluation on a teacher because a lot of these teachers nowadays, being that we actually ran the, you got to remember, not too long ago, a lot of our teachers, they went ahead and they, I'm sorry, I'm having a brain fart tonight. That whenever they were protesting and they stopped working, you know what I'm talking about?
Right. They
Right.
weren't getting paid
Okay.
like that and all the other good stuff. Yep.
Right. So because of that, now, the schools were kind of just hiring anybody that really didn't have a criminal record. It didn't matter if they were, if they actually had their BNAs. Now it's just if you graduated high school, they'll hire you to sit there and be able to watch the kids. But my thing is this: it takes a certain kind of person to be able to be in a classroom full of, 20, 30 children, random ages, random walks of life, random raising. Okay. For me, to be able to handle that. And then I feel like, me personally, they need to have a psychological evaluation before I would feel comfortable with them having a gun, in the school, because my kids ask questions because I don't lie to my kids. Now, granted, I will try to put it delicately, but if I can't put it delicately, I will tell them directly how it is. I try to tell my children the truth because at the end of the day, I really don't want them sitting there believing a lie out there and swaying from their moral compass north. Okay, so when it comes to this, I'm down with this if we can get a psychological evaluation on the adults to make sure that they are mentally able to not only handle a room full of kids, but to also handle an emergency like that. Because at the end of the day, like we said earlier, BMT, ain't nobody gonna sit there and protect my kids like me. Ain't nobody gonna sit there and protect their kids like you, your kids like you. This also goes for anybody in the chat, anybody in the audience. You have a whole different type of passion to where you are willing to kill and die for yours. I'm gonna need to make sure that that teacher's willing to do the same thing.
No. Now,
Um, Instead of having it and then pussying back like, oh my goodness, I'm afraid of you. Man, fuck all that. These are babies. Now, when it comes to the high schools, I don't know. Because my high schoolers, look, my kids got a mouth on my teenagers. Oh, honey, they're going to test your patience. They're going to test yours because they know they can't test mine. They're going to test yours because they know they can't test daddy's. Okay?
now that's fair. I'm not. I have mixed feelings on so much about this.
I do too.
Because in talking to my friend,
Mm-hmm.
I have friends that are school teachers, and I do worry about them now because I'm like, damn, there's no place safe anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Only place I can honestly tell y'all to work that literally you probably stand a hairball of a chance now is the gun store. I have yet seen anybody run up in a gun store to rob a gun store. Like that's I almost feel like you are going on a suicide run. Because you're literally going up in the store where they that's all they do.
I haven't seen anybody rob a gun store or sit there and try to hold up a police department with cops in it.
No, I've never seen nobody ever try that. They like this is like the reason why I have strong feelings about the teachers getting guns, because dealing with people at that type of high frequency,
Mm-hmm.
like we know, very stressful jobs. I
Mm-hmm.
forgot, but I do know the teachers up there. The teachers highly up there, and now you're being told that you have to have discipline with that of a firearm when you're going to have kids get up in your face and try you.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have people say things, parents say things to you and threaten you.
Can I add something to that?
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have we also know that we got some kids that got sticky fingers that's gonna try to get it during recess or whatever, trying to see it up close and all this other stuff. And not only that, but if they have it, I'm assuming they're gonna end up having like a lockbox or something for it. So,
But see,
another
they
thing.
had it on. See, they had it on them, and see,
Ooh.
no, watch the video again. Here, I'll play the video again. They didn't have the guns in a lockbox. The guns were straight up on them.
I was thinking that whenever they would have it in the class, they were gonna end up putting it in the lockbox. No.
No,
Then no. If they're
no,
having it at their side, because from the video, I'm sitting there and seeing, them discussing it and having it.
no. All their guns are all on them. All their firearms are all on them. So if that teacher
No.
breaks up a fight, you gotta understand, when a teacher has to break up a fight, they have to jump in the thick with kids.
Right, that's what I'm saying. No,
So
I didn't see that part. I'm sorry.
So
No.
if a kid starts figuring out the imprint of where your firearm is at, and listen, y'all, this is not me doing fear mongering. This is me being realistic.
Right.
Okay? Kids watch. Kids watch. So that guy right there, on just this video alone, because he's showing you where it's comfortable, so it's right there on his right. That's where his firearm is at. So on his right hand side, see, right side. He's on his right side. His is on his right side. They're all right-handed. Most of the time, you're gonna shoot with your dominant hand. You're right with your dominant. So we already know. It ain't like he's gonna have one day. Whoa, let me put it on my left hand so that way I can switch it up on y'all. No, he's gonna have it on his right hand. So I'm curious on how this is going to go.
Okay, with that extra bit of information, I'm sorry I didn't look that because the video is really.
Like I said, just watching the video. See, this is like I said, this is going to be changing it because we already know police officers, they don't get psychological evals.
Right.
So I'm trying to figure out how's it going to be for a teacher. And we already have it with some teachers. They're having different agendas, different other types of blended things with their sexuality and everything. So
they're hot-headed and everything else. Yeah.
So it's going to get pretty interesting. It's going to get pretty interesting in those areas. Now, I know Texas was talking about doing it.
It's what name?
I don't know how it's going to roll down the hill, but this is definitely going to be something of a changing experience. This is definitely going to be a changing experience.
Yeah, because honestly, if they're going to just sit there and have it in the open, oh no, then that literally becomes a danger hazard for everybody.
You know what
Dad,
I'm saying?
can you go and turn the lights on for him, please?
Now, I'm curious now. Here's the thing I'm curious about. What's going on at the church? Now, I get it. Yes, the churches, anything can happen now. I know one church, the ushers have guns. You don't know which usher has or what deacon has a gun on them because they switch up.
Okay, so here's my hold on, bro. I didn't mean to cut you off. Here's my issue with that. Okay, so let's say the ushers aren't there, but the deacon is there, the reverend is there, or it's just the choir. Let's say the choir is having choir practice and it's literally just the members of the choir and something happens. Okay, so you have ushers that have guns, but who's gonna protect them then? It's just, honestly, I honestly, I really don't know. I have very, very well, I have a lot of mixed emotions about that because one, when it comes to the schools, a lot of times naturally you're going to sit there and think of what's the most efficient way to sit there and break up a fight. One of the ways is loud noise. Or, if you end up having to jump in there and somebody sits there and pulls it out and sits there and tries to aim it at a child, then you literally, willingly or not willingly, you've allowed them to become a potential murderer. So now we have more of a problem from the way we were trying to resolve it. It doesn't make any sense. As far as the church, like I'm talking right now. Go. I'm talking. Your daddy's outside. You will have to wait, Prince. Sorry, my son was interrupting me.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. You're good.
You need to go to the bathroom? Go potty. Hurry up. I love you too. Go now. Okay, so
Mhm.
at the end of the day, when it comes to the church, I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand that there is a lot of people that are going to churches because they're thinking it's an easy mark. You know, once again, I'm not saying don't protect yourself, but it's just I don't know, because I kind of see this going far left. I don't see it being used for only what it's intended to be used for. If that was the case, I would feel slightly more comfortable, but I also understand human nature. I understand the way minds work. I also understand the level of stress that is America itself has put on its people, its citizens, its slaves, it's whatever you want to call it, because anybody that's a citizen is a slave. So I see the amount of stress and the amount of anxiety that people are going through. And the last thing you want to do is put a loaded weapon into their hands. So I got mixed emotions about it all. I really do.
Okay, so if you got mixed emotion about that, are you ready to keep on going down the
The rabbit hole. Yeah, sure. Let's go.
Okay. Okay. So, like I said, so how do you feel about how would you feel if you went to church with your rapist?
Once again, the BMT, we've already discussed that I'm a firecracker. And as I'm about to say, and as a firecracker, I pop whenever I need to pop off, I pop off anywhere. I don't care where I'm at. One thing about me, y'all, I popped off at my mother's funeral because there was an old man that I didn't know that had so much to laugh about and was kiki and kakaing, and I went over there and I slapped the dog shit out of him. So baby, if I go up there with my rapist, oh honey, I got a whole knife with his name on it, and we're gonna get up close and personal, and I'm gonna write my name in that ass. I'm sorry. This is just me.
So, Indiana pastor was applauded after admitting he had raped a church congregational member for years. The
Come
church
again? So repeat
the
that slow so I can make sure I heard what I heard.
pastor of a church was
Uh-huh.
embraced
Uh-huh.
even after the
Confess.
the girl right there, she confronted him. And then what happened was the pastor was applauded as he stepped down. So, in other words, not he chose to step down, but they supported him. He had
Did they
been. Hmm?
did they support him stepping down and getting the fuck out the church? Or
No,
did
no,
they
no, no, no,
support
no. He chose to do that. No, he chose to do that.
Okay, continue.
He was truly a strong man because he chose, even after he did what he did to the girl for years, he chose to be a man of God and step down.
Oh, that's what qualified him as a man of God, was it? Oh,
Huh?
okay.
What do you mean?
You said he chose to be a man of God because I'm sitting here thinking
He
he
was a
obviously
man of God. He stepped down.
I was about to say obviously he wasn't a man of God when he was raping this little girl while he was sitting there and faking the funk.
Well, she's grown now.
Well, I mean, little girl grown, it doesn't matter. Whenever you're sitting here and you're taking somebody's body and you are tarnishing their temple and not allowing free will for them to leave, especially if they feel threatened in any kind of way, and you were taking advantage of that, no matter how you took it. I'm sorry, that's not really being a man of God. That's why I made my comment. Oh, so he
Fair
he
enough.
he decided
Fair
to be
enough.
a man of God and stepping down.
Well, the church applauded him and they said that he was ready to step down and find Jesus. Julius Woodson reacts to the apology issued to Andy Savage, a pastor at the Hip Point Church, Tennessee, who admits to sexual incident when she was 17. Pretty much, let's look at what
Yeah, let me see the video.
Julie. Yeah, it seems like a lot of these pastors are coming out about having sex with their congregational members, like when they were kids.
There
I
was
don't know
something
what's
I
going.
saw. No, there was something I saw on TikTok yesterday before that video plays. Where this woman said that, there are a lot of churches that were all over America and there was 217 pages. Sorry, 268 pages. Not
Mhm.
268 names, but 268 pages of names of people who had been raping people in their congregation. And these are like pastors, reverends, deacons. These are people high up who have been like almost serial rapists. And can continue with the video, darling. I'm sorry. I'm gonna shut up. Go ahead.
Okay, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you ready? Okay. So let's hear one of the pastors as he steps up as a man of God and does the right thing. But she thinks that he's not a man of God, but we'll still do the show. Wow, he even got some music.
High Point Church, at all of our locations, everybody watching online, I want you to know that we love you in an incredible way. And we are sincerely sorry for any dishonor.
As a kid growing up in the church, I really looked up to the church leaders.
If you're a guest, I'm very sorry that you're having to hear about a difficult subject, but I do.
These were
that if you're a guest,
the people to emulate.
only love covers a multitude of sins. Andy's going to come and share with us at this time.
The only apology, if you can even call it that, was when he ran out of the truck screaming, oh my God, what have I done? You have to take this to the grave with you.
He will not face
Criminal charges.
Right.
I tell you, man, these pastors got some type of immunity from God Himself. I know that I should be laughing, but I'm looking at the synagogue. I told you, man, the church got too much power, man. Like these things that are set up. I feel for her. That I know what it's like when I told somebody at the church I was being sexually abused and nobody took it serious. So this is why I don't take the church serious for shit. I don't. You're a fool if y'all tell me anything about a pastor and what power they have. Like, I tell you right now, like the fact that he gets to sit up there and drink water and literally say the church makes mistakes and I gone before God and that's it. But he has no criminal charges. Wow.
Forgive me that I'm going to read something to you. That is not my normal flow.
I called my mom and asked her if it was okay if Andy gave me a ride home, and she said yes.
I want to read this partly to make sure I say what I intended to say and also to help me get through what I need to say.
He passed the turn to go to my house, and I honestly thought we were going to TCBY to get frozen yogurt.
I don't want reading this to minimize anything. I've never wanted to minimize anything about
Hold on. If you already know that you have committed a crime, I don't care if you want to or not. You no longer have that permission. You no longer have the right to sit there and dictate how anybody takes this shit. But I'm just gonna sit there and say, first of all,
Speaking from his heart. He's
Hold
speaking
on.
from his heart, Eliza.
I know. I'm just like, first of all, if you sit there and tell me I'm gonna read you something that is not my normal flow, I don't want you to take XYZ as blah blah blah. That's already ding ding ding, red flag.
I
This
wish
about to be some shit.
yeah, you already know. I said, man, he already getting ready to say something.
Whoa.
Listen, they must know some people because they already say, listen, man, like, hey, the fact that if her parents are still going to that church, they a fool.
A dark dirt road off the main road.
As a college student on staff at a church in Texas more than 20 years ago,
I just remember him unzipping his pants and asking me if I would suck his dick, if I would give him a blowjob.
Wow.
I regretfully had a sexual incident with a female high school senior in the church.
I looked up to him. I trusted him.
Oh, man.
So when he asked me to do that, I thought, this must mean he loves me. Like, this is a man of God I look up to.
I apologized
That's a man.
and sought forgiveness from her parents, her discipleship group, the church staff,
Oh,
and the church leadership.
What happened was a crime. This is not something that the church should handle internally.
Yeah, I agree.
I
with you on
remember
that one.
asking, well, what's going to happen now? And they just said that the church would handle it. Andy Savage was still teaching.
In agreement with wise counsel, I took every step to respond in a biblical way.
And
Wait.
I'm just aching
pause.
inside because
He was already handled by the church council, Eliza. So if that happened, that is not for the law to handle. That is for the church council. That's how I know, dude. Like I said, man, like these laws, dude, be crazy.
Hold on, bro. I'm listening to everything.
I don't make these things up. I just report.
I know. Hold on, because I'm gonna have you sit there and play the rest of it in a moment. Did you hear the apology?
He gave it to God. He gave it to God.
Hold on. He apologized to not unless they agreed to not state her name, which that could have been a potential agreement.
I would.
Okay. I mean, I'm going out on the limb and saying is that because honestly, I'm pretty sure that she ain't saying shit to him, so I don't know who could have made the agreement, but going on the limb.
I would not be quiet if I was her. I would not be quiet. I would make all kind of noise. I would go right up on that pulpit
Right.
and sit right there on that. Sit right there on the first on the
Boy,
big.
look, I would be the look, I would be the devil. I would hunt
I would,
him.
hey, we on the same
I
boat. I'll be
would
the devil throughout that whole. Hey,
boy,
I'm
I
like,
mean,
hey, let come on, do what you was talking about when
boy.
you said in that truck. Hey,
And then hold on, and then he sat there and apologized to everybody else. He sat there and said their names, their organizations, their placements in the church.
He wasn't
But-
directly saying he said the church is the church. We're apologizing.
Hold on. He was sitting there saying the youth group, the this, that, the blah, blah, blah. But when it came to her, just sat there and said that she was a college student.
Yeah,
Bruh.
No,
At
no,
the end,
she was a senior still in school.
yeah, she was a baby. I don't care how people see it. I don't give a fuck if you're a middle schooler, senior, elementary, fucking college student. It don't fucking matter. At the end of the day, literally, when you use a position of power to exchange, any kind of physical, this is not exchanging currency for services rendered, okay? This is literally when you're using any type of position of power to sit there and trying to exchange any type of sexual acts. Bruh, you know what? It's not my place to sit there and try to judge this man and say he needs to go to hell. All I would say is I couldn't. Hold on. All I'm gonna say is I couldn't have been at that church because I sure would have set him on fire and gave him a fucking pre-taste. I can't say he going to hell, y'all, but I can say gasoline, it moved like water. And it ain't shit but the fucking flicker match. I don't know. I'm somewhat of a violent person. I'm okay with that. I have sat there and done my healing about that. I am okay with being a violent person when I need to be. Baby, if there was never a time in your life,
I would have killed that pastor.
Boy, look, I would have killed him and set that whole. I would have killed him and set that whole church aflame.
Y'all could have judged me. BMT would have just had to take that.
Would have had to take that L happily. Do you hear me?
So, like I said, like it would have to. Now this is the video I have to go. I'm gonna have to go do a commentary on this one, but I'm gonna do it tonight also. But I'm gonna also do it tomorrow. I'm gonna have to do both of them.
Okay.
It's crazy. This video
Go
right
ahead.
here.
Finish the video, honey. I'm sorry. I interrupted.
I'm gonna have to record this one video. This one video is crazy. This one video, actually, the church has been trying to get this one pulled down. So I have
then
to.
Yes, record that and save that shit before they're able to get it pulled down.
Now this is the one. Shout out to the people. You know who you are. You got it to me. This is the crazy one. And listen, they said, watch, listen. This is the truth. This is what the church stopped streaming for their live video.
Okay.
This is my family. Okay.
Okay.
He's longing to see you come to a saving knowledge of Christ. Would you hold your hand up so we could at least pray with you, pray for you? If you're not sure that you know Jesus Christ as your Savior, I won't take long on this. We have some other things we need to do. Thank you. Praise God. Thank you. Okay, we got somebody that wants to receive Jesus this morning, so will we all pray with them and support them? So let's all pray this prayer together. Say, Dear Lord Jesus, I believe with all my heart. Cleanse me. Forgive me. And help me, Holy Spirit.
Now somebody's recording this.
John Lowe. And I'm adultery. It was nearly 20 years ago. It continued far too long. It involved one person, and there's been no other, nor any other situation of unbecoming conduct.
He's admitting to the church how he was raping a girl for years.
Conduct for the last 20 years. I will not use the Bible to defend, protect, or deflect my past sin. I have no defense. I committed the adultery. To say it plainly, I didn't make a mistake. I didn't have an issue. I didn't have an affair. I didn't make a misjudgment. I sinned. I need to say that, and you deserve to hear it. I have been asked, why did I wait so long to deal with it? Why hide it all these years? The answer? There is no good answer. I told myself for years, silence served to protect everyone. The other person, those closest to her, from the hurt and from the public embarrassment. And I'd like to think that was true. But the truth is, that silence was to protect myself as well. While applying church discipline for sexual failure, for repentance, confession, and restoration, I myself had not been disciplined for sexual misconduct. I will not use the Bible to defend myself. As this.
Where's the girl at? God dang it. He trying to hide the girl. That's not, hang on. Let me go grab this girl because I got to go. Listen, man, these churches are getting good at covering up. But this is the Indiana pastor apologizes to church for adultery. Woman takes microphone to say he raped her when she was 16. Now, let me see. Can I find, because literally this is a 16-year-old girl got done in by the pastor. Nobody in the church holistically wanted to get at him.
He's long.
Hold on, let me see.
This floor. Do you remember that?
Oh, this is it right here.
I know you do, and I have other stories that
We're going to have to listen to the whole thing.
We got to listen to the whole thing.
community on your office floor.
Oh my gosh, they did it. He had her on the office floor.
Community on your office. Community on your office floor. Do you
To all who are involved.
Oh hell, we're going to just take
I
that on.
committed adultery.
Let's just get it out the way.
It was nearly 20 years ago. It continued far.
Let me know if y'all can hear it.
Yeah, we
It
can.
involved one person, and there's been no other, nor any other situations of unbecoming conduct for the last 20 years. I will not use the Bible to defend, protect, or deflect my past sin. I have no defense. I committed the adultery. To say it plainly, I didn't make a mistake. I didn't have an issue. I didn't have an affair. I didn't make a misjudgment. I sinned. I need to say that, and you deserve to hear it. I have been asked, why did I wait so long to deal with it? Why hide it all these years? The answer? There is no good answer. I told myself for years, silence served to protect everyone. The other person, those closest to her, from the hurt and from the public embarrassment. And I'd like to think that was true. But the truth is, that silence was to protect myself as well. While applying church discipline for sexual failure, for repentance, confession, and restoration, I myself had not been disciplined for sexual misconduct. I will not use the Bible to defend myself or to beat you into scriptural submission. 20 years ago, I repented. Now today, for this fresh hurt, I ask you to forgive me for the deep wound I have caused.
Before
I
she
make no
speaks,
excuse for my sin. The betrayal of dear friendship, trust, and love is beyond my ability to express. The church is engaged in a healthy biblical process to restore your trust to the ministry here at New Life. Meanwhile, I hope you believe God called you here.
Wow.
Meanwhile, I hope you believe that God called you here, perhaps for such a time as this.
Huh.
To forgive,
Hold on, bro. Hold
heal,
on.
so that God
Pause
This
it.
is so dark. So
Okay, here. I just want to sit there and say this. I don't know if anybody else is catching this. He keeps saying he committed adultery. In the process of saying that, when once again he's up for saying, well, I'm not going to use the Bible to sit there and try to beat you guys into biblical submission. But listen to his verbiage. He's saying, I committed adultery. When you hear a grown man say that they commit adultery, who do you think the other person was in that? A grown woman, right? Someone who was conscious of the decision that they made. And not only that, but someone who also volunteered to portray in the acts along with you. He's not calling it what the fuck it is. And I think that's the reason she sat there and took that mic and she was like, bro, fuck you. Let me go ahead and tell these people what the fuck really went down. Because the way he's saying it is that he's making it seem like he was married and he was, fucking around with maybe another married member of the church.
like it was consensual.
Yes, that's the way he's making it. See, he's still using wordplay.
He's lying.
And yes. And the thing is that I left my church long time ago. Matter of fact, after my best friend's grandma died, that was the last time I was in there. I walked around. Ironically, 2 weeks later, there was a man that started shooting up people in my church. Actually, no, he didn't shoot up people in my church. He killed his wife, who was also a member of the church. That was all over the news too. So I just kind of felt like, you know what? I walked out right in the nick of time. Okay. But even with the memory that I have, the little bit of memory that I have now, and he keeps sitting there saying, I'm not going to use the Bible, I'm not going to use the Bible to justify this. What I was doing is I was keeping silent. And what it sounded like is that she sat there and checked this motherfucker. Because for real, if you'd been silent this long, what would have happened that was so disturbing to your soul that it forced you to come up and finally give a confession after 20 years? It wasn't his choice. She sat there and said, you're going to do something, or I'm going to sit there and let everybody know your little secret. Because mind you, if it's been 20 years quiet, he wasn't the only one that was quiet. I mean, she was too. Now, I'm in no way saying that, anybody had benefited from this traumatic experience. This is horrible and this is disgusting. But if I do remember correctly, it did say something. I do remember the Bible saying something along the lines of, and I'm paraphrasing, y'all, so don't come for me. But saying something along the lines of, all the churches will be exposed. Because there was a whole lot of shit that was going on that literally stayed quiet. It sat there and said near the end of days that all churches would be exposed. And there's going to be a certain few that had favor of God. Now, what that mean? It's not my place to sit there and try to dictate anybody's interpretation of shit. I just remember that, and for me, shit like this is clicking. It's clicking for me. Might not be clicking for some other people, and once again, that's okay. But one of the things that's kind of irritating me about this is that he's literally trying to make it seem like he was with another consenting adult instead of a rape. Now, I said my piece. Let's continue off the video unless you want to say something.
No, you said exactly what I was thinking. Like I said, wordplay. He said he was going to mention words. That's not what happened in here right now. Right?
Yeah, he sat there. He said that so that people could be more comfortable with what the fuck he was saying. That's what he did.
I find it ironic that the church stopped recording. Luckily, they didn't foresee that somebody else was recording.
Right. Because obviously they got a heads up that this shit was going down. That's the only way they could stop recording in such a nick of time. So let's go ahead and continue.
The next few weeks while the church is in this biblical process, Please be in a lot of prayer. Stay faithful to Jesus.
How you gonna tell me what to
My
do?
wife
when
and
you
family
do
who I've
that?
deeply hurt, I have confessed my sin. They have graciously forgiven me and expressed their love to me, which also is deeply humbling. To those that I sinned against, many years ago and recently, by keeping this in the dark. And to those of you who are wounded from this fresh hurt, to you, the church, I repent for the adultery and my silence. Please forgive me. In accordance with our church bylaws, I'm stepping aside, stepping down from ministry responsibilities, and have committed to the Lord and now to you that I will submit to the process and recommendations of this board.
I'm gonna need a whole nother cigarette for this.
What the hell? He got a standing ovation.
I need a drink for this.
If you
You
love
know
us,
I
please
don't
let
drink,
us
right?
talk.
I don't know how many people get to admit to rape and get a whole clap. Like, that's when y'all know we are definitely fucked as a society. That's when y'all know we're fucked. When they are clapping like that, told you, man, these places are deep.
I'm waiting for her to come up here and just literally spill all the beans because, like I said,
Let's continue. Let's continue.
For 27 years, I lived in a prison.
Well, she got up there real quick. Oh, that was her.
And it was not 20 years.
Oh, 27.
I lived in a prison of lies and shame. Lying to protect the Lowe family. For years, I thought I was a horrible person having suicidal thoughts, not realizing what had been truly done to me. That I was a victim and I would still be in a prison if my brother, and many of you know him, Edgar Wolf, had not approached me just 2 weeks ago with what he had seen as a teenager that bothered him all these years. His pastor in bed with his younger sister, a t-shirt and underwear on. People knew but were too afraid to come forward, and they have now. The lies and the manipulation have to stop. I was a prisoner and you kept me in your prison. I'm a prisoner no longer. I was just 16 when you took my virginity on your office floor. Do you remember that?
Crap.
I know you do, and I have plenty of other stories that I could bring to remembrance. You did things to my teenage body that had never and should have never been done. If you can't, you have to answer to God. You are not the victim here. I tried to tell someone, but all that was done was cover up.
Boy, this got dark as shit.
you know what? My daughter wanted to watch a horror movie. I guess I got one. I got one tonight.
I'll email you this shit right here, boy. Like, I'll
Well,
email you.
look,
I'll
please
email
and
you.
thank you.
Boy, this is some dark shit right here. Shit.
Keep going. She putting that motherfucker on blast. She's
No one
taking
ever
her.
came to me. No one ever helped me. No one ever got me counseling. I have wanted to talk to somebody all of these years and never. You have somebody that you talk to. I never have. The church deserves to know the truth. This church has been built on lies, but no more.
They're trying to get the mic from her.
The lies need to stop. I could give story after story after story to what you did to me. Michael, your dad is not the victim here. A partial truth is not true. If I would have gotten counseling, your dad would be in prison.
Tell him.
It might not be the way, but every time you covered up for Russ Spangle, my best friend was my age when your associate pastor.
Wait a second. There's somebody stepping up to her because she's telling. Wow.
If I would have gotten counseling, your dad would be in prison. It might not be the way, but every time You covered up for Russ Spangle. My best friend was my age when your associate pastor was molesting his 2 daughters.
What? Oh, Jesus Christ!
So that's
Who in
4.
the church? Who in the church was safe?
And you know that. You sent him to be a pastor in another church. You can call Melanie right now, and Cassie, her sister. They sat down with you. You sent Melanie away. Don't look at me like that. You know the truth. I know, but you can tell the truth because this is a lie.
I will let you know what.
You know better than it was.
Listen, my wife is not just adultery, it's another level when it's a teenager. And I will not let this man talk about my wife like that. It happened for 9 years. When she was 15, 16, the sexual grooming started. And it lasted until she met me and we started dating. This is the truth. And that's all we're gonna say, except just that's it.
You have numbers, you can talk to my brother.
That's fine. This necklace was Bobby's. It was given to her by Joe II and possibly other people in the office. They might have received necklaces too as like a ministry gift. I'm not trying to stretch the truth here, but it was in her house and I'm giving it back. This was Bobby's covenant of purity ring, which she wore while this man had sex with her, and she felt ashamed all these years wearing a covenant of purity ring. She felt honor, shame, and guilt.
See, that's a man.
We are working through love and forgiveness.
That's a man. That's a
We're
man.
working through it.
I would have probably beat the fuck out of that pastor.
And they can't just bamboozle people and just say, well, I just committed adultery. It was far beyond adultery. So here's the covenant of purity ring back. I don't want it in my home.
Say it.
We're done.
Ooh, mic drop. Go ahead.
I don't know how they're gonna have church after that, boy. I listen.
Oh, honey, they was having church. You ain't heard?
Listen,
She was preaching, baby.
Listen,
They was having church. But you know what?
They can't just.
That helped her heal through all that shit. That gave her a safe space to sit there and be vulnerable and tell the truth. That's what I'm talking about whenever I'm sitting there and trying to tell some of these men. Y'all have to, and y'all have to do this because there's a whole lot of, a man supposedly don't want a damaged woman. But when they come to you, if you can sit there and be vulnerable and allow her to feel comfortable enough to sit there and tell and to trust you enough to sit there and tell her trauma, and then knowing that you gonna back her up, oh, that's some shit right there.
I know she got some demons, boy. I know she dealing with some demons right now, boy. Like that shit right there. Damn, this girl was naming other little girls who got God damn, boy. They must have got a whole ministry line of these damn things.
You can't just bamboozle.
And like he said, you're not gonna sit there and bamboozle people and sit there and call it adultery. It wasn't adultery, it was rape.
He said, you ain't gonna lie to my wife. You ain't gonna say that shit was. He said, "Now she was ain't no." That's why I be trying to tell y'all crazy fools. Ain't no way no teenager can consent. A teenager can't consent. Teenager cannot consent.
There is a reason that the age of consent is 18. And honestly, if I can have my opinion on that, the age of consent shouldn't even be 18. It should be 25 because that's when the brain is actually fully developed so to where they can sit there and make the best choices. But right now, the fact that he sat there and said, no, you're not going to sit there and lie on my wife. You're not going to sit there and have her looking crazy. Not only that, but anything associated with you. I don't want that in my house. I don't want no reminders of you. This was her literally detoxifying herself. This was her cleansing. This was her version of letting it go. This was her version of being able to heal and get over it so that they can sit there and have a stronger foundation. That right there is a motherfucking man. I give my hats off to him. Go ahead now.
So the real dark issue was y'all, and what's going on, information, man. And this is why I told y'all. And see, the thing about it is we need more of this in our community. Where we confront these demons, these type of people, what's crazy is the people were applauding him. And the girl and her husband had to run up there and say, no, 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 no. This was
No. They were applauding him because of his lie, because
Right,
it looked
right.
like he was confessing to an adultery and to some consensual sex and mishap and stuff like this. That's why they were applauding until she went up there and said, no, you're not gonna lie. What you gonna do is sit there and tell the truth and the whole truth.
See, he didn't, but you notice, but see, here's the thing that's scary about it. And see, the thing about it that you gotta catch. Now, here's the scary thing about it, that you don't miss the mark on this one. When she started getting at him about it, right? When she started getting at him about it, what happened? Hang on, let me see, where is it at? I know. Hang on. They had to run up there.
Yep.
They had people trying to rush the stage.
Your dad is not the victim here.
And get at him.
Not true. Apart. If I would have gotten counseling, your dad would be in prison.
See? Notice that man is up in her face trying to get her to stop.
Yep. And you know what? Here's the most important thing, and this is to the ladies out there. Ladies, do you see that whenever when you have a good man, whenever that man tried to do that, what happened? Her husband sat there and said, no, not today. He sat there and blocked that shit so fast. He said, no, you're not going to sit there and take this from my wife. You're going to let her speak.
Like that. See, and the thing about it is, like I said,
it might not be the way, but every time you covered up for Russ Spangle, my best friend was my age when your associate pastor was molesting his.
Wow. So even the associate pastor too? Like, damn, how many people in the church are fucked up? Like, and see, this is why I try to tell y'all, man, there's so much dark stuff going on. Like, I'm gonna have to do a whole topic on this tomorrow, man. Like I said, man, I'm gonna send Eliza this. I'm gonna send Eliza this. She might cover this on her own. Own, you know what I'm saying? You know, like I'll send this to you. But see, they're covering up this story. Oh, they're covering this story up pretty good.
Because I have a 16-year-old daughter, and all I'm gonna say is I wish a motherfucker would. Honey, I'm not the type that's gonna call the police. I'm the type that
attack the pastor at church, Eliza. Not at the
sweetheart. Honey, I'm always a lady first, and I make all of my stuff from scratch, baby. All I gotta do is sit there and invite him to my home. Oh, honey, I make a mean pie. I make a mean pie, and I make some great tea. You'll never know which side of that shit came from.
Like I say, y'all. I'm gonna send this to my sis. And I know Exile. He already gonna have his own commentary.
Oh yeah, you already know he gonna interrupt everybody sitting there, cutting people off.
I'm gonna let y'all do that on y'all show. Every time something happens, but is he mean well? I just know Exile probably just punched that dude in the face.
Oh, dude, look, he would have did more than that. He would have sat there and tried to kill that dude. And then if somebody would have sat there and tried to stop him, we would have sat there and called up some family members, and our whole fucking church would have got swatted on everything.
So this will be tomorrow on this one. This definitely needs to be talked about.
Because I have a 16-year-old daughter. And like I said, I wish a motherfucker would. I wish a motherfucker would. I'm not the calling police type. Like I said.
Yeah, I don't believe in that police shit.
Hey,
I'll get away. I'm not giving you a chance to get away and get off. Get up now. I want to make sure I send a message.
Man, look. I mean, I'm not the messy one. That's my husband. He's the one that, he's the crazy white boy. So he's the one that'll sit there and do all that stuff. I'm the one that's really, really sweet, really kind-hearted and everything else. And you try to come after mine, baby, you would never know until it's too late. What happened to the pastor? We don't know. Oh, well, you know, how'd he die, honey? We don't know.
You guys, I want to thank y'all for coming through. Of course, sitting here chilling with me, and also my homie, my sis. You know, my beloved. She goes in and she, listen, y'all. She did a good job emceeing and being co-host. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think we've been rocking for a while. Shout out to Exile. I know he was in the chat. Shout out to John. John always coming through. John always a great mod. You know what I'm saying? We actually had a really good discussion, a really good wholesome discussion. I'm so happy I was able to find the footage. And I plan on going more in depth. I know, Elijah, you want me to send it to you still? Let me make sure I get it. Okay, so I'll get both of them films to you. But I know that Facebook one, you're definitely going to want to get it. Make sure you save it. If you save save it because they're trying to find.
I have a recorder on my computer, and I'll just sit there and just record the thing. So in case it disappears, I'll still have it.
Right, because they're trying to y'all don't believe, if y'all don't think certain groups or entities don't be trying to wipe their dirt clean off the internet, they will. We are very happy. Whoever that person is, they knew to record.
But it wasn't just them. There was a few people that were recording. I sat there and saw a few people with their phones off.
Church is doing some dirty shit again. Got to record. Mm-hmm. But you saw they said the church. See, usually churches like that record their services, but they knew to turn off their camera.
Mm-hmm. They got a heads up.
Remember, it was like, oh, y'all on that funky shit again. Yup. Let me turn on the camera. So yeah, the church, we only make certain mistakes, and God forgive us, and it was adultery. Couldn't find the girl, and her husband had to run up to no.
Right.
You see, y'all, you can't be afraid to confront these type of bullies.
Shit, here, you can't be afraid to jump off the porch and check a motherfucker. And you know what? Let me go ahead and speak on that real quick before you get off, BMT. Honestly, especially with the Black community, we have been so indoctrinated to sit there and say, all right, you know what? I don't want to be the one that's gonna go out there. I don't want to be the one that's gonna get hurt. I don't want to do this. The most I want to do is record it. Because I can do that from a distance, or the most I'll do is yell because I can do that from a safe distance. Sometimes, just sometimes, y'all got to stop being scared. And even if there's a chance of y'all getting hurt, and understand, I say this from the mindset of the motherfucker that does it, okay? Sometimes y'all got to put y'all fear to the side and sit there and check some shit when y'all know what's wrong. It don't matter if y'all gonna get outcasted. It don't matter if y'all gonna be embarrassed. It don't matter if y'all gonna be ashamed. All that shit. Y'all have to be the ones that is gonna jump off the porch. Y'all can't just sit on the porch and watch all the fucking foolery and the shenanigans. Y'all gotta be the ones that's gonna jump up. Because you know what? I'm gonna say this. It was brave as shit for that woman and her husband to sit there and do what they did. Now let me ask you this. In the Black churches, how many of y'all would have done the same thing? We got motherfuckers that won't even sit there and talk whenever the pastor's coming home to your house and sitting there fucking your mama, and you sitting there and hearing them right there, knowing damn well the pastor got a wife and kids. And you ain't saying nothing. You don't want to get in trouble. That ain't your business, blah, 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 blah. At the end of the day, if we don't check these motherfuckers, who will? At the end of the day, if we don't put a stop to it, who will? And a lot of times we also live in a society to where you don't want to do nothing about the shit until it's you. And we have this mindset that, oh, well, you know what? That sounds so horrible for them, but that would never be me. Oh, this sounds so horrible, but you know what? I would never be in that situation. Oh, shit, that can't be me. I do X, Y, Z, yeah. Don't say what you would do if you ain't never been put in a situation. Now, all we need y'all to do is sit there and jump up and put a stop to the shit, because next time it could be you. Next time it could be your daughters. Next time it can be your sons. Because understand, boys are not, they're not exiled from that. When it comes to these grown ass men and women raping kids, honey, gender, they don't care. You got grown men that'll sit there and rape boys. You got grown women that'll sit there and prone and rape little girls. You got grown ass adults that'll sit there and do this shit to anybody. They don't give a fuck. So now you got to think about it. If y'all don't sit there and put a stop to it, it could be y'all, it could be your siblings, it could be your kids, it could be your grandkids. Are you really gonna wait till it's one of them and then sit there and try to shout off the fucking rooftops and then sit there and try to figure out why ain't nobody else doing nothing? Hell no. We've done that too long. Okay? We have a history of doing that shit. Let's look back at history. How well has that worked out? It might have kept some of y'all safe, but guess what? We're still dying at an alarming rate.
And see
So
that, and that was a problem that I definitely had with back then. That stuff like this would happen, and something could happen in your family. Nobody would say anything. I know, but it's happened in my family a lot. We had a lot of people who were sexually abused.
Well, you know, my brother is he's passed away now. There's a lot of people that have come to me about, there was an issue. My mom, I'll go ahead and put it out there. My mom was dating this dude, and he was in his 60s, and my mother was in her 50s at the time. And one of the things she always said is that she couldn't stand us because we would always sit there and run off whoever it is that came to date her or whatever.
Mm.
Saw this man. This man had a grown ass daughter. She was like 21. He was always trying to be around me, and I was already like, nope, I don't like you. I don't fuck with you. Honestly, because he was a strange person. I don't do strangers. Okay. My brother came to me and sat there and told me that he did something to my brother. The next day I sat there and met him. I cut this man in his groin. My mother from then had never forgiven me. From that moment on, I swear to you, she had hated me to some degree. It might have been undertoned, but it was always there. And literally, afterwards, me and my brother really didn't get along all that well. She kind of showered my brother with stuff. And, I took the brunt of the blow. But at the end of the day, that was my little brother. My job as a big sister was to protect my little brother. Mm-hmm. I couldn't protect him, but my little brother knew what I did, because as soon as I cut him and this man sat there and started bleeding everywhere, I was called everything but the child of God. This man went to the hospital, sat there and told my mama he couldn't be with him. We was fine with that. For the next 2 years, my brother slept in my room. Didn't sleep in my bed, but he would have like his little camp set, and he would literally put his camp set on my floor and sleep in my room because that's where he felt safe. He tried to tell my mom. My mom sat there and said, no, you're lying. That couldn't be true. Blah, 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 blah. I didn't even know for a fact. All I knew is my brother's not going to sit there and make up no shit like this. And then whenever I went to be around this man, he was sitting here getting a little too close to my brother, so I reacted. Understand, I had a very difficult childhood. Okay. And so when that shit happened, for the longest time, I was the crazy sister, which once again, I don't have a problem with being a crazy sister. Shit. At the end of the day, I protected my brother. I did what my mama was supposed to do. And to this day, when I sit there and I tell y'all, sometimes y'all gonna have to be the crazy motherfucker that's gonna jump off the porch. Sometimes y'all gonna have to be ridiculed. Sometimes y'all gonna have to be made fun of. Sometimes y'all gonna just have to be hated. Because at the end of the day, even though when we got to a certain level, me and my brother didn't get along, whenever we became adults, before this man died, and I told him I was pregnant with my first son, my brother reminded me of everything I did, and he sat there and finally apologized to me for the way he treated me. He thanked me for being the best sister in the world, because he knows that nobody else would have done that. I thought he forgot about it. I didn't. But at the end of the day, may his soul rest in peace. But what I'm saying is, when I say that I'm speaking from experience, sometimes y'all just gonna have to be the crazy motherfucker that literally say, fuck it, fuck the consequences, fuck all that shit. Because if y'all don't, next time it could be you. Next time it could be somebody that's close to y'all. And not everybody responds the same. Not everybody acts the same, especially when you're dealing with a boy getting raped versus a woman getting raped. They don't have as many resources as we have. And it grows, this goes into, these are men, they grow into men that are doing shit that really doesn't make any sense because they never literally felt safe enough. If they couldn't feel safe with the people that were supposed to protect them, who the fuck they supposed to feel safe with? So when I say this is to men and women. Stop being afraid to jump the fuck off the porch. Like, stop being afraid to get in the middle of somebody. Stop being afraid of sitting there and checking a motherfucker. Y'all sit there and check them if they got an attitude with you. So why can't you check them if you're sitting there and seeing them mistreating your neighbor, or sitting there fucking with your son, or fucking with your daughter, or oh well, you know what, my brother's coming over and your daughter sit there and tell you, mama, he sat there and touched me. Why is it you can't sit there and act just as crazy as you would with a motherfucker having an attitude with you in a car, at a gas station, or anything else? Why can't you sit there and act just as crazy to that same motherfucker that sat there and hurt your baby? Or hurt your siblings? Or hurt you? Stop being scared, y'all. There's a reason that when that shit happens, y'all got that rage. Y'all supposed to rectify the fucking situation. Do it. Stop being afraid. Stop being scared. So what? At the end of the day, what's the worst that can happen to you? And yeah, some people might say death, but you know what? Whenever, and I'm pretty sure any type of victim out there, especially if any kind of sexual misconduct, rape, molestation, male, female, doesn't matter. Sitting there and literally potentially dying, taking your power back is better than living and not saying a fucking word. And that's on everything. So sometimes y'all just gonna have to stop being scared.
Right.
That's the only thing I wanted to say. I'll go ahead and I'll let you go.
No, that was powerful. That was powerful. I very much do appreciate that. I wish you had been my older sister when I was sexually abused for 2 years, and so I know what it's like to live in hell.
Mm-hmm.
I know what it's like, and there isn't a lot of. I got more support with women than I did with men. I got more
Because
support.
they didn't understand it, yeah.
So what she's saying is factual. And when people, and it's bad because even when men talk about it, we don't know how to properly support each other. We look at it as a sign of weakness versus that person is trying to actually come out and actually get help. And then depending on how the person goes, they start going down dark paths. I'm not gonna lie, I still got demons I deal with, even to this day. I know I am over hyperly sexually active. And there's sometimes where I want to be intimate. Just like, fizzles out.
Mm-hmm.
Because how my mind was rearranged. Now you
You're
already
trying
know.
to get back, but you just can't do it and you don't know how.
So, and like I said, it's not, trust me, I got plenty of babies, so I know it's there. So, but the thing about it is, there's a lot, and I'm gonna have to have a talk about that next time later. There's a lot of sexual abuse and trauma that's buried under the floorboards.
Mm.
It's like generational curses. It passes on. When we don't call it out, when we don't call it out or we don't say nothing or do nothing, I knew a girl that the dudes, they wanted to sexually break her because she was very defiant and strong. These things happen. Like I said, I'm gonna have a conversation about it. I gotta email this video as soon as possible. Eliza, email me ASAP so that way
Yep.
I can get it to you. ASAP. If any of y'all want this video, y'all gotta grab it from me now so y'all can record it.
Here, I'm gonna give you my email in the private chat. Hold on.
Yeah. At blackbrother123@gmail.com. If y'all want this, trust me, y'all want to grab it as soon as possible. Again, this church is wiping this video off the internet. They got pulled.
Mhm. Most churches do, especially if they're a large congregation like that.
So
Most
understand this. And then these type of men, they don't get arrested. Email me as soon as possible.
All right, I sent you my email in the private chat.
I got
That's
you.
another one. That's not the one I sent you the first time because I have like a lot of email addresses, but that's the one that goes directly to.
I got you.
It pops up in my phone. Yeah.
Yeah.
All of them do, but that's the one that usually gets the most attention.
Okay, so let me grab that. Again, you guys. Like I said, I want to thank my sis for coming through. I love this woman to the moon and back. You know, if they ever call for me to come over on their show, I definitely do it. You know, I try to. They're very solid people.
Oh
And,
yeah, you did. I mean, it was a dope show.
yeah, it was. I don't know who the woman was. She had a good dialogue for the most part.
She, the lady that she usually only comes on mine. She'll with other people she stays in the chat because she's very neutral, and she will always try to keep a neutral standpoint. And that's why I like her. But you know, to be able to get the mindset of somebody that stays neutral, that can emotionally take themselves out of any and every situation, no matter how much they actually may have invested, that is a talent all its own.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think it was me, her, Exiled, and did I have a black woman on there?
No,
Oh,
you didn't.
then okay, my girl Tay wasn't on there, so she'll probably be on there next time we have a show. Actually, the subject matter to my next show was I was actually going to talk to a racist, and I was going to ask him what specific thing, if any, is it that made you that allowed you to choose to be racist. I really want to understand the mind frame of somebody that is a self-proclaimed racist, and
So
where
are they openly a racist, or they claim to be one?
they claim to be one. I mean, whenever I met this gentleman, it was never anything derogatory towards me. Very, very respectful. They were self-proclaimed, and I told him, you know, I would like to pick your brain about your self-proclaimed choice. And
Elijah, it's not going through, Al.
it's not.
Mm-mm.
Okay, did you put a space in there?
I copied it just like you did it, and then
Okay. Oh, that's because I had a space. Take out that space. After that first word, take out that space. I'm sorry, my phone did that. Make it all one word. And it should go through.
Mm-mm.
It didn't?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Here, I'll give you another one.
How many emails you got? Then I can't say shit now.
I honestly, I got like
I got
7.
5. I got 5.
I have 7.
Okay, so I can't be too bad.
There we go. This one should work. There we go.
Okay, this one looks a lot better. What? Definitely, you guys. There. This looks a lot better. Booyah.
Okay.
Sorry, I've been
But
saying.
yeah, I wanted to understand someone that has self-proclaimed them, why, if they have any type of facts or anything else, I want to know where they got their facts from, how updated are their facts. And, I'm one of those, I like to pick people's brains. I don't like to really argue because I truly believe that, when it comes to opinions, there really is no such thing as right and wrong because it's an opinion. And an opinion, in case some of y'all don't understand, is literally a choice that you have chosen. It is a way you feel about something based on your environment, based on the way just your environment in general, or, the things you see, the things you do, the way you chose to live your life. Your
You got
opinion may be different than mine. There
you
is
got
no right or
y'all want that video. Y'all need to email me ASAP at
Yep, I got
blackbrother123 at email me ASAP and I can give it to y'all ASAP. Like I said, you might want to grab this video and record it as fast as y'all can.
Yep, I can record on my phone too.
I'm gonna tell
I got
y'all
it
right
on
now, this church is there. Letting y'all know right now, that video ain't gonna be up there forever. Email me, I will get y'all the video. Y'all can copy it. I know when she copies it, she's gonna get it to me.
Mm-hmm.
Probably copying it right now to make sure because I think they
I am.
probably. So you're already doing it right now. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Like I said, yeah, that's a pretty cringy video. I know y'all saw me smiling. After a while, I was like, "This is dark as fuck." But I guess because I've been doing this for so long, a lot of these things do not surprise me anymore. They don't.
You got
But
the night off.
I got this tomorrow. I'm back on the beat. I'm back to the club. Back
I
to
see.
the back to life. Back to that. I had some of the girls listening to your video,
Uh-huh.
and then after I had them they said, "Oh, she's nice." Then after that I showed them your other videos, and they said, "Oh, so she's one of us." And they're like, "Tell her she can come out and dance with them. We got a few places for her." I guess they're saying you could come out and hang with them or some shit. Whatever kind of congregation y'all got,
Hey, all I'm saying is at the club, it's almost like another family, depending on who it is you associate with. You got girls that, I'm not here to make friends, I'm here to make money. And then
Yep.
you got girls that, honestly, it's a home away from home. It's a way to be able to distract yourself, be able to use your creativity, and and then believe it or not, it's a safe space because at least there, that your power is not going to be taken. There, you can go ahead and get your power back, and there is safety, and you don't feel like you have to go out of your way in order to get the safety. What that means is you don't have to sit there and sleep with somebody. You don't have to exchange sex or physical services for said safety. So a lot of people, they look down on things like that, and some people really just don't understand. It's almost like a community. Whenever you are with these girls night in and night out, you're hearing their stories, you're seeing how they, how they tick, you're seeing how they interact with other people. You get a different, understanding. And a lot of, I try to explain that to some people, and it seems like the only people that really understand are people who either work in those type of industries or who have friends, who are close enough to almost touch it. They're the ones that understand versus, let's say, somebody from that church. They'd be like, "Oh,
I think one day we can actually do a conversation about the stripper industry. Like
oh yeah,
like I said, I've been
oh yeah."
in that world. I've been in the stripper industry, the porno industry, and damn, where haven't I been so far? Like
I mean,
and also I sold sex toys. I made pretty good money. I made pretty good money.
actually, I had a time where I was working at a Cirillas. I worked at a novelty shop. I danced. There was also a time where, at the club I was at, we always had features, and the features were always porn stars. And I can't tell you how many porn stars always invited me out to California.
Go.
Actually, my husband at the time, he had a favorite young lady, and I went ahead and got some autographed DVDs, and she invited he and I with her boyfriend and her to come and stay at her little penthouse, and I'm like, no. I said, as fun as it sounds, and she was putting it on pretty thick, and like I said, as fun as it sounds, this is our spot. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, I have hilarious stories. I have horror stories. I have everything because I've done it for so long. And it's second nature to me. It really is. Like, I
Now,
haven't been to the club
I
in a
gotta
while.
I gotta set you up with a talk with Faith. The Faith of the Faith Factor. Because she's doing a series on a classy lady or classy woman.
Mhm.
And she's trying to separate the Jezebels from the classy women.
Yes.
Do you think that there needs to be a distinction, or they can be no?
Well, I'm gonna say this. Initially, when it comes in, you have three type of women. You have the exact distinction, okay, distinction, and then you have those that are mutable. Okay. Those would be the young ladies who right now they just decide that they're grown, they're going into this because it seems like it's a lot of money, and when they go into the situation, there's a lot of different type of opportunities. It's almost like an adult playground. You don't have to have your mom and your daddy watching you. You could do this, you could do that, you can sit there and get drunk, you can literally do whatever it is that I love you too, baby, that you would feel that you want to do. But then eventually those women will sit there and maybe have a couple of years where they have their fun, then they get bored with it, and then they transition over into maturity. They transition into, okay, you know what? This is fun, but this is not everything there is to life.
Right.
This is where they grow, and they start stacking their money, or things of this nature. Then you have the ones that are the ladies, the actual ladies. You have the girls that they'll go into a strip club, they'll wear evening gowns, they'll stay fully dressed. They understand that stripping is actually an art, and they do not mistake a strip club for a brothel. That's a very, very distinctive point. And even as they talk, they hold themselves as ladies. So there are certain things that they won't do because they understand that, this might hinder my ability to make my best decisions here. You have some ladies that are there for a goal. They're using it as a stepping stone. Literally, this is not a life goal. If they want to go to college and they don't want to have to deal with, student debt, things of this nature, okay, this is a quick way to be able to go ahead and make your money, go ahead and pay for your school. They's acting like she hates me. I will take care. Hey, go get your daddy and tell daddy. Okay. Sorry, my babies come to mom all the time. But
No.
then you have the ladies, or then you have the girls that are. Where's daddy? I'll go get him in a minute. Go on, Prince. Then you have the girls that are trying to have their hot girl summer. Okay. And they try to sit there and have their hot girl summer all year long. You got the girls that, this is literally a pickup spot. Oh, you know what? I see somebody. Oh, he fine over there. Oh, he feel like he got yada 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 yada. So let me go home and smash. Do you not realize this is not a brothel? Honey, if you want to be a prostitute, I can go ahead and give you the address to go and get turned out. I mean, I kind of feel like there's almost no point in sitting there and telling you that you might want to read that contract. You might want to sit there and take that contract and, skim it first, or take a picture of it, because when they sit there and tell you, they're only going to sit there and have one guy, and this is what you're going to be doing whenever they sit there and send in 37 dudes to sit there and run through you.
Now,
they're going to change up that contract.
We need to have a conversation. Like, see, I think you're definitely equipped to have that conversation, because I've worked for strippers and I've worked with escorts.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my only thing about it when I worked with girls who I work with girls who they were escorts, and they were like, okay, maybe you can drive me around, do this and that. I said, whoa, it's how you try to put me in the pimp role.
Mm.
And they're like, no, I just want somebody to watch my back. And I'm like, now I can understand. I understand the girls who they're strippers, and yes, a lot of them they a lot are blurred where they want to make that extra money. You know, especially when they go to the VIP section, and they go to the VIP section, and the guys in the booth with them. Listen, I can break you off another extra few more dollars that the house don't need to know about. You know what I'm saying? I got my condom ready. And
I know a lot of girls like that.
I know all the stories. I know all the time. I had to tell one girl, listen, baby, can you at least pull the condom out of your coochie? It's still hanging out. Can you at least pull it out? And she just tucked it right. She just pulled it right on out and dropped it in the trash can. You need to mind your business. I said,
Oh no, I knew a girl that literally went to the dressing room with that motherfucker still in her mouth and full. And she gave no fucks. I knew a girl that OD'd on heroin, and right as she was walking out of the dressing room, so she was passed out between the dressing room and between the entry where all the, the people were.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when I say I got horror stories, I got horror stories.
Like I said, the game was cold, y'all. Like I said, it's definitely an accountability. Like I try to tell some women, they're like, well, the men pay the women. And I'm like, true.
It doesn't matter.
But I'm like, still, the women, when y'all go in that world, when y'all go in that type of world, there's rules to the game in that world.
Yes, there is.
And there are a lot of rules. And any fool, y'all, or naivety, y'all can say whatever y'all want to say on YouTube. But for those of us who actually be in that type of world, like me and Al, you know what I'm saying? And y'all want y'all to strike the record. I'm the one that's calling her Al.
That's okay.
So we know, I'm telling you right now, if they say you can't touch them, you might want to take your hands off.
Boy, look, I done had to break a couple noses. I'm not playing.
They say stop. I can promise you.
That means stop.
In the next moment or two, somebody's coming really quickly. Might be one or two or three people coming, but you're not gonna like the results. So
hold on, they might be male or female.
Yeah, and no, listen, praise the males. The females have a whole different agenda on anger and other demonic shit that they're going through, that they're going on. And if you do have issues, it's better for you to go to your car and get in your car and leave, and don't come back for a few days. Because, like I said, that it's a sticky situation. So, like I said,
put it like this.
We got to say that for later, Al. Say that for later.
Okay.
I know she wants to go down that rabbit hole. We will have to set something up, y'all. Like I said, now that I know Al she can do it. Like I said, listen, she can do it. She can do it. Because she knows how to switch and go from mommy to I can tell y'all about that shit. And like I said, but see, like I said, me and her even have our disagreement. I know some people that a lot of people, I know a lot of girls who don't make it out. They so used to that money. They don't make it. And there's a lot, and I know some of them, they're like, nah, I can't stay here long. And you know what I'm saying? I said, hey, I think I used to have one girl, and I need to go. We'll talk about it. We'll definitely talk about it. We'll definitely talk about it. It's a very interesting.
Send me Faith's information because I would love to be able to have this kind of conversation.
I got you. I'm gonna see y'all guys later. BMT, joining y'all with my girl, Liza Havoc. If you haven't seen her channel, you need to go over there. She does dope conversation with her and Exiled, and you never know what you're gonna get over there.
Yes, Lord.
I try to go over there and have some good conversations. Y'all will really enjoy them. Tyrone, email me at blackbrother123@gmail.com. If you email me, I will get it to you just like I got it to her so quickly. And y'all, if y'all want the video, I will get it to y'all. I'll see y'all guys later. Peace. Let me go call